start the Historic Review Board meeting, special meeting, Cape Charles, October 20th, 2021. I've been asked to read this as an introduction. This special meeting of the Historic District Review Board is being held electronically as provided under the Code of Virginia, Section .2-3708.2, Section 8.3, which permits public bodies to meet electronic communications without a quorum physically assembled at one location since on March 12, 2020. Governor Northam declared a state of emergency for the Commonwealth of Virginia arising from the novel coronavirus pandemic. The purpose of this meeting is for 1, review applications to obtain certificate of appropriateness as follows. A, an after-the-fact approval for a re-roof at 4 Randolph Avenue. B, to modify windows and add a skylight at 209 Randolph Avenue. C, to demolish an existing shed and build an accessory structure at 100 Madison Avenue / 410 Harbor Avenue. D, previously approved COA to reveal the condition of the siding at 324 Jefferson Avenue. Section 2, reviewing pre-applications as follows. A, to install a sign on a commercial building at 18 Strawberry Street. B, to install a sign on a commercial building at 325 Mason Avenue. C, to install a fence at 615 Randolph Avenue. D, to install a fence and shed at 725 Tazewell Avenue. E, to install a fence and construct 2 sheds at 521 / 523 Monroe Avenue. F, to replace the existing front porch and front door at 119 Peach Street. G, to construct wraparound front side porch and rear deck with roof and replace windows at 304 Tazewell Avenue. H, to demolish the existing accessory building and construct a new garage at 116 Tazewell Avenue. I, to restore or replace the exterior siding and trim at 547 Mason Avenue. J, to replace the roof and to construct additions on the side and rear at 114 Pine Avenue. K, an after-the-fact approval to install new railing on the front porch, replace a rear door, and add steps and a landing at 315 Randolph Avenue. An audio recording is being made of this meeting. This meeting is also being live streamed on Facebook. Public comments will be accepted this evening via Facebook Live and emails to planner@capecharles.org. Comments were also solicited to be emailed to the clerk, planner, and planning technician prior to the meeting. All votes taken this evening will be by roll call vote and recorded in the minutes. Any board members who leave the meeting or arrive after start of the meeting must verbally note their attendance. Only essential business of the town of Cape Charles can be done in this manner. These procedures will remain in effect until COVID-19 crisis has been alleviated. Do any of the board members have any questions about this process?
No.
No.
Okay. I'll call roll call.
Herb Tom.
Kathy Glasser.
Strode present.
Mayor present.
Wells present. We have a quorum. Is there any public comments on the agenda items only?
Mr. Chairman, we have received several public comments, but they are all related to an item at 116 Pine Street. So if the board is willing, I would like to defer reading all of those until we get to that item later in the agenda, just so we can keep our agenda moving on.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Can I get an approval from the agenda format and the approval of the minutes?
I make a motion to be approved.
I second.
We have to have a roll call vote, I think.
Herb Tom.
Kathy Glasser, yes.
Strode, yes.
Mayor, yes.
Was that a yes, Herb?
Yes.
Okay, and I say yes. And the approval of the minutes? Can I get a motion?
I make a motion, we approve the minutes as read.
Second.
Roll call.
Herb Tom.
Kathy?
Kathy, yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Okay, we have approval of the minutes. Unfinished business. Okay. This
If I
is-
may, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
can I go ahead and take the lead? Number one, I appreciate all the board and the staff who helped with this. We have now done a staff report that's come back onto this format for your consideration, and I help to ease how we run our meetings. So with that said, our first item is an after-effect approval for a partial re-roof replace. We heard this at our last meeting, and I really wanted to focus our items of discussion this evening. It is specific only to the type of materials that were used for the roofing materials, and if we feel that they are in compliance with the historic district guidelines. All other matters associated with this relative to any zoning or building permit activity that may have occurred with or without a permit will be handled by the building official and myself once we receive direction from this body if the material is in compliance with your guidelines.
Okay, does any of the board members have any comments,
No,
discussion?
no,
Can I get a motion to approve the material that was installed at 4 Randolph Avenue?
So moved.
I move, oh, okay, second,
Can I get a vote? Roll call vote?
Kathy, yes.
Strube, yes.
Herb?
Here, yes.
Herb, no.
Well, the motion's been passed. So be it. So the application is approved.
And to
Herb,
the
can I ask
applicants.
why not?
And to the applicants, I will be in touch with you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Kathy. What
Yeah,
did-
Oh, I just wondered why Herb said no.
that's his decision.
Okay, I
Any
just didn't know if
discussion?
I was missing something.
No, I said no, Kathy, because I disagree with the format.
Okay, let's move on to item B, 1B.
The next item is, again, this is at 209 Randolph Avenue, and I think Mr. Connors is available on this call as well. He is seeking to modify windows and add a skylight to a single-family detached dwelling. This has come before you before. There were very specific things that you were asking for additional information from him. A plan view of the windows in relation to the street and other property views. To see if the west window frame has its original wood frame and the rear addition, if we had a construction date on that, and a proposed skylight location plan view. So we have included that information in your packet. I believe we got everything but the wood frame question resolved in his submission. So with that said, if this is within your satisfaction, we would recommend approval if everything is according to your satisfaction.
Can I jump in? Because I do have some updated information from our contractor saying that he does not believe that it's in the original frame and that it's been over the course of years switched out multiple times. That was his wording.
I believe there was a question of the age of the addition, where the kitchen is.
Oh, yes. So I did a lot of digging and calling. After talking to a variety of people at Town of Cape Charles and Northampton County offices, I was able to find out that records do not show the activity more recent than 1984. And they could not track anything down further back. So all I know is that it's older. That addition in the back is older than 1984. That was where my path came to a dead end.
Does any of the board members have any questions, comments?
Nope.
I believe, did you agree to lower the windows from the soffit? I
Yes,
don't
so the
have my,
updated Oh, sorry to interrupt. The updated photos that I
Oh.
submitted were a slightly smaller window and dropped lower to the counter height. So the original submission was 6 inches above counter height to allow for a backsplash.
Yeah,
And the new submission is only 2 inches above counter height, just to give a little bit of a lip. So that's the new photos. You can see that the lower window to give more space from that roof line.
you sure that's gonna work for you? Only 2 inches off the countertop?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not ideal, but yeah, that's okay.
It's 2 inches off the backsplash, correct?
2 inches above counter height.
no,
You
that's
only-
above counter, not backsplash. If
I thought
hearing
you said
correctly.
you allowed for the backsplash.
With the first submission, I allowed for a 4-inch backsplash, and then 2 inches for the bottom of the window frame. And the new photos allow for 2 inches rather than the 6.
So can I get a motion? Is there any more discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I did have one follow-up because I think you had indicated you do 6x6 pane windows. Is that correct, Brad?
Oh,
And-
yes, and that's, I do remember your advice there to match with the rest of the house, just the
Right.
single over single.
Just because your house itself had single by single,
Yeah.
even though the neighborhood had 6x6.
Yes. Yes, I'm sorry, I forgot that in
Okay.
that email.
So they're all going to be single?
Single over single to match the rest of the house, yeah.
Right, okay.
Everybody's satisfied. Ed, I'll make a motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
Okay, I make a motion.
you have
that
to hear
we,
the motion.
Yeah,
Okay,
application,
To hear the
the,
motion first.
certificate of appropriateness be given to 209 Randolph Avenue for the improvements that he wants to do.
I second.
Can I get a roll call vote?
Herb, aye.
Kathy, I.
Strube, aye. Mayor, yes.
Wells, yes. So the motion passes for the certificate of appropriateness at 209 Randolph Avenue as submitted before the board. Okay, we have 1C to demolish an existing shed and build an accessory structure at 100 Madison Avenue / 410 Harbor Avenue. Is the applicant with us?
Yes, yes, sir.
Here they are. Yes.
Can you tell us what you're planning on proposing to do?
Yes, so it's, I think a good way to look at this is there's two projects. One is smaller than the other, I think. The first is to extend out the back of the house by taking down a small bump out that's currently in place. It's just a screened in hallway and part of a utility room. And we would add a bathroom and expand that utility room. The second project is to tear down the existing shed, which is a one-story shed that's pretty dilapidated, and then reconstruct a two-story structure where the first floor would be for a vehicle and just yard equipment, storage, that kind of thing. And then the top would be an accessory dwelling. And I think, and I'll defer to Katie, but the purpose of this is to focus on the first project and look at the second one. We have some, we understand we have some extra steps to go through for the accessory dwelling.
Yeah,
That is correct. We still would like the board to consider both elements and only officially act on your addition request, the tear down and the addition request. And the accessory structure, let us know if you have any issues with any of the materials. Otherwise, we will continue to work with the applicant to move them through to get the use allowance approved.
Katie, what's your recommendation on the secondary structure? I mean, do you have drawings on it?
I don't think we do have drawings at this point. I can't remember, because that's the only folder I didn't bring with me today, because I left that for conditional use permit folder pile. So Sam, maybe you could answer that question?
No, go ahead. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
The size?
What does it visually look like, the size of the accessory structure?
So it is, I can tell you exactly.
There are pictures in the packet.
Right, we have 2D and 3D drawings. The accessory structure would be 30 foot by 13 feet. And 20 foot by 6 inches high, which falls in with the requirements for the main structure of the house in terms of proportions. The idea, what we're trying to do is turn this into a long-term rental type of unit up top on the second floor for teachers or what have you. So we're not looking for like short-term renters or anything like that. And then the bottom floor would be for our use as the homeowners to, again, store things and just use for keeping equipment and things.
So it is going to be for a rental.
Correct.
Yes. So, and Herb, I don't mean to deflect your question, but I haven't done the full analysis and recommendation yet on that matter, because that would require a hearing before the Planning Commission and the Town Council. And part of my analysis is I do look through the comprehensive plan as well as the zoning ordinance to develop my recommendation. And I have not done that work, and I won't do that until we actually get an application filed by the applicants. And they are aware of that responsibility.
Okay. No, Katie, I'm not objecting at all. I think we need those types of rental units in the town. I just wondered if you had checked it out for zoning requirements, that's all.
Right.
Yeah.
And they, I know they included drawings in the packet. It's just the one folder I didn't bring with me because I know that element of this application has to go through another process. So I moved it to a different pile already.
Okay, I trust you. I trust you.
Yeah, Herb, it does have to go to the Planning Commission. As far as I know, it has not done that yet.
Correct.
Right. Thank you, Michael.
Okay.
We're just approving the addition right now, correct?
Yes.
I just had one question on the accessory apartment. The doorway is going to come out onto Harbor as the existing shed is now.
Right, so we
Garage
would,
door.
we would have a door on the first floor facing the main house, which we would use for egress. And then there would be a door on the alley side with steps going up for the tenant or the person living on the upstairs portion.
Well, do you plan to put vehicles on the lower section?
Oh, yes. So we would have a garage door, which we did provide material specs on that. But yes, that's correct.
And that's going to come off Harbor, right?
Or
I'm not sure how you're going to get in there is what I'm asking.
right, you would come off Harbor. That's correct. It would literally face Harbor.
So is there, yeah, I don't have my, I can't get my stuff to come up on the computer.
It's
But
right there.
There's no road cut. There's no road cut there now. I guess you're planning on getting VDOT to put a road cut in there or get approval?
I think you can get right through from the alley. If the way it currently is positioned, there's a large gap where you would just simply veer a little tiny bit to the left and you pull into the shed. I mean, that's how I think it's been used in the past for, say, like golf carts or what have you. But we will certainly work with you and Katie and whoever to make sure we do it the right way.
Well, I'm just, it's not an issue. I'm just for
Okay.
your own sake.
Okay.
I believe you have to be at least X amount of feet with an accessory apartment, 2-story. I think it's 5 feet or something like that.
Right.
So that's going to be offset to your left towards your main house,
Right. That's right.
if I'm not mistaken, the
Yes.
structure itself.
And if
That's all I have. Does there anybody have any questions about the bump out on the existing home, existing house?
Not
The
really.
windows are vinyl replacement,
Correct.
vinyl replacement windows with vinyl siding as the rest of the house?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Will it be the same height?
We-
Looking at the existing picture, it looks like it runs right up to that window.
Right. And so we're going to go pretty much follow that. I think it's a 2/12 slope. And we are a little restricted by that window, but the grade should work based on our coordination with our architect and engineer.
A 212 pitch? Is that
Right.
what-
12?
That's very shallow depth. I mean, what kind of roofing's going on there?
It's a metal roof.
Okay.
And based on, again, based on our discussions with our architect and engineer, they seem to think it would be fine.
The 212 pitch with a metal roof?
Yeah,
I would,
It's close.
it's tight, but we are
Yeah.
kind of restricted by it. But
okay, can I get a motion? Does anybody have any
Yeah.
more discussion?
No, I make a motion. We give him a certificate of appropriateness on the bump out of the building and reserve the right on the additional structure.
Can I get a second?
Second that.
Roll call vote?
Herb, aye.
Kathy, I.
Job, yes.
Mayor, yes.
Wells, yes. It's unanimous decision. Certificate of appropriateness has been unanimously approved for the addition on the rear of 410 Harbor Avenue.
great, thank you. And as I said,
Okay,
we'll coordinate with Katie on the
Yes.
the accessory dwelling.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you, Sam.
Thank you. Okay, this is item 1D, previously approved certificate of appropriateness to reveal the condition of the siding at 324 Jefferson Avenue. Is the applicant here?
Yes,
Okay. Can you tell us what's going on over there?
we're asking to put hardy board siding.
Okay, because we had initially asked what was underneath the vinyl,
Yeah.
Yes,
and you said,
It's wood siding that has a tremendous amount of holes in it.
and I'd seen some of the pictures from the interior, but I didn't see any from the exterior.
Well, it's vinyl siding on it now.
Yeah, but I think what we were looking for is something from the exterior to show us the condition of the wood on the structure. I mean, I think that's what we were really looking for.
Well, if you look at the pictures, you can tell that it's plywood in the doors that are shown from the inside. I didn't pull any of the siding off, no.
Yeah, I did see
But
the
you can
plywood.
tell the inside that it's plywood, that those holes are not siding. They're not wood siding. It's just a plywood hole.
Was that just where a door was removed and filled in at some point?
Yes,
Yes.
there's 3 of them.
Wasn't there another question about window height?
The window heights now are about a foot lower than the typical 6'8" door height. And I wanted to raise them up to where it looks like the rest of the homes in the town.
Yeah.
if I may, Mr. Chairman, that was an addition that the applicant put in as of last week when we spoke with them on their application. I don't think we have sufficient information to really address the windows this evening unless the board should feel you can move forward with it. but we don't think we have sufficient information, and staff would not recommend the change of the windows at this point in time. We would actually ask them to do a modification application and come back under a separate application.
So we could proceed to approve the siding
Yes,
section of this, but not the windows.
but not the windows, unless, and if there are any further questions you have, we just didn't have enough information on what they were looking to do, what it would look visually, and any of the materials on the window replacement itself, or if they're gonna reuse the existing windows. We just didn't get enough information in time for your packet inclusion.
So what would you need? I mean, I want to raise them up to the door height. The 6 foot, that's a standard height for windows.
And again, I understand that if you're only looking to do that for the first floor, but when it was conveyed to us, you said for all your windows. So we didn't
Right.
understand why on the second floor you would need to raise the window height and how that would be done. And again, would you be reusing the existing windows or you'd be replacing those windows? We just weren't clear on that information.
We've already got approval to replace the windows. I just wanted to make them at the right height.
Yeah, but replacing the windows and changing the opening is a different it's a different story. You have to remove the headers, put new headers in. So
You're
it's
right.
a little,
Absolutely right.
a little bit more involved.
Yeah, I would make them look just like they were, but at the right height.
How do the other board members feel about this?
That changes the siding though, Ed. You know that.
Well, he's getting the siding approved.
Yeah, but he can't do that until we decide on the windows.
Yeah.
Well, this is true.
I mean, you can't do one without the other.
So what is your suggestion?
Are the windows going to change location at all? Just stay in the exact same location, but be how many more inches higher than they are now?
They will be in the exact same location. They were just going to be raised up to 6'8" height, which is the standard door height.
He included this picture in your packet, if anybody can
Yeah,
see this.
I
on my
see
end.
the picture. I
Make
can't,
sure you know.
what size are the windows now?
You mean the height? The
Yeah.
height of the window is it's about 5'8",
So you're adding,
about a foot, right?
okay,
Yeah,
on the top?
on the top. The bottom stays the same. The sides are staying the same.
If you do it on the second floor, it looks like you're going to be right up to the roof line.
It'll be to the soffit. It'll be right up to the soffit, minus the top header. It will match for the inside.
So will that be below the fascia board? Or is it just even with the fascia? on the second?
It'll be right even with the fascia board, yes.
Yeah, we had another application that was kind of close to the fascia height and we made them lower it. Actually, the person was on tonight.
That was the 209 Randolph application.
Yes.
Where he went with the smaller windows.
Yes. I don't see what you gain by opening the windows on the second floor. I mean, maybe the height with the door, I could see possibly aesthetically,
Right.
but including putting the windows up on the second floor to that height, I don't see the advantage really.
Well, that's kind of what most of the homes have. I mean, my windows on my second floor are 6 foot.
Or 6 foot to the top of them.
Yeah.
So they're below your doors inside too. Your
No,
interior.
they come just almost to the floor.
Well,
My ceilings are 10 foot.
I'm not changing the sill. I'm just talking about the head. So when you look at the door inside, looking inside, the top of your doors inside should be the same height as the top of your windows. Same as downstairs. I know there's no door upstairs for you to visualize that, but that's a 6'8" is a standard window.
Yeah, I think the first floor is fine. I guess it seems awfully close on the second floor, but
Yeah.
that's okay.
Is there enough room for the casing around the upper window to even get a wider casing up there by extending it a foot higher?
Yes, I'll have, I said, I'm gonna have the same casing on the, it's gonna look the same, it'll just be taller. It's gonna look the same from the outside, it'll just be taller.
Well, I'm looking at your photos and your siding now is what, double 4, double 5?
I think it's double 5, I'm not exactly sure.
I mean, it looks like you have 2, maybe 2 and a little bit. I don't know if you can get an extra foot plus the casing on there.
Maybe. So the issue would be to leave. Well, if we went right tight to the soffit with the top of the door, of the top of the window. I don't know if it's a foot or not. So if we just move that up, if you're looking at the window, at the picture.
Yeah, I'm looking at your east side.
Okay,
windows.
if we move the top of that casing right to the bottom of the soffit. That's what I'm looking for on the second floor. And on the first floor, I want to be the same height as the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at in the previous application, and I don't know if you guys can see this. How the windows are.
That's what I'm
You're
talking.
right up to the soffit.
Just like that. Just like that.
I think that's fine. I mean, a lot of houses have that.
I think so too. I mean, that's where it's supposed to be.
Well, it's not what you're saying, though. You said you want to go up a foot. Now you're saying you're changing it. So it's not clear.
Well, I want to be able to bring that window up to the bottom of the soffit on the second floor and to the door edge on the first floor.
So
And if there's not enough space for the 6 foot, would you use a smaller window then?
Yes, I would have to if I can't. What was 6 foot? You mean 6'8"? Yes.
6'8".
Yes.
I don't see how you can get a much bigger window in there with putting a new header in there. If you're changing that header to go up.
I'm getting whatever that distance, that siding above the window out of there.
So you would go tight to the top plate. You
Well,
wouldn't even have a header?
It would be down below the top plate. Yeah. It would be down whatever that head height is on that window that you see from the picture. Just like the one on Randolph.
Yeah, but he had a different situation, I think, there. Well, part of it, the lower windows were a kitchen problem, but I don't.
But that was the bottom he was talking about. I'm talking about the top, right?
Yeah. Is there any
I think
discussion?
having the window going up to the soffit is, I think that's appropriate. I mean, that's kind of what most of the houses here have.
Right. That's what I want to do.
Is there any other
It just
discussion?
may not be the full amount you're looking for.
Right. I understand what you're saying. That's fine.
Anyone else have anything to say? Do we want to defer this or do we want to proceed?
if I could assist maybe in crafting a couple of motions, maybe that would assist the board in moving this forward.
Go ahead,
So the-
Katie.
Please do.
So the first item is, it sounds like we are okay with his replacement of the siding to vinyl as presented.
No.
Uh-uh.
The vinyl will be removed for hardy plank.
Sorry, hardy plank. I apologize. I didn't read all my notes. I went too fast there. So to replace the siding with hardy plank.
Yes.
So
Now,
we'll
we're
take
gonna
the-
have the same casings.
Yeah, we're gonna have the same casing. Well, it'll be, it'll match well, whatever.
Dimension wise as. it's-
Dimension wise, it'll be the same. Dimension wise, yes.
Okay.
So if we want to take up just the siding issue first, if we could.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do that,
proceed.
Katie.
Well,
I mean, he's gonna be stuck in the middle here, but.
Right,
Yeah,
no,
I-
I'm going to give you motions for each of the windows. I'm going
Okay.
down the road. So I just want to get the siding finished first.
Go ahead.
So you are supportive of replacing the siding to a hardy plank siding as presented by the applicant? Would that be a motion?
Correct.
Herb, second?
Yes. Second.
Take a roll call vote.
Herb, aye.
Kathy, yes.
Strube, yes.
Mayor, yes.
Wells, yes.
Okay, and the windows on the first floor, he's looking to raise all the windows on the first floor by 1 foot so that they align with the height of his door frames on the first floor.
Yes, correct.
You need a second?
Yeah,
Second,
you
Can
wanna
I get a
call
roll
that
call
one?
vote?
Yep,
Herb, aye.
Kathy, I.
Strube, aye.
Mayor, yes.
and then the windows on the second floor, they will be raised to align so the top of the window will align with the bottom of the soffit.
I would
Correct.
say the top casing would
The
be
top
to the
casing.
bottom of the
Top
top.
casing, yes.
Thank you, top casing to the bottom of the soffit.
That's
you.
correct.
Okay,
That's good.
Okay.
And what material are you using on the casing?
On the outside, it's hardy plank, the material that goes with the hardy plank, and on the
The trim
inside,
boards?
yeah, the trim boards that go with the hardy plank, and then yellow pine on the inside, I guess.
Okay, I was just curious as to casing on the exterior. We don't really deal with the interior.
Right, I got you.
hardy plank casing, got it.
Ed, Katie, ask him what the dimension of the sill plate will be.
The sill is not changing.
So is it 2-inch?
I don't know. It looks about, I didn't measure it, but it looks about that. I'm not exactly sure what that.
It
it's-
looks
okay.
pretty wide on the existing.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
That's
can
not,
see the shadow, Herb.
you can. That's cool. All right, there you go.
No, you actually can on the pictures.
Good. There you go. Everybody needs a shadow.
Yep.
So you have the full 3 motions?
Yes, I just need to close out the vote on the last motion.
Okay. Can I get a second?
I'll
I'll
second.
sec- Oh, okay.
Can I get a roll call vote?
Herb, aye.
Kathy, I.
Mike?
Michael, wake up.
Way to
Martin?
go.
Mayor, yes.
Wells, yes. We have a approval on the 3 motions
All
submitted.
right, Strube, yes, I was on mute.
Yes.
and
You were asleep, Michael.
Good luck.
Using my phone for this meeting, but I'm using the laptop to go through the 300 pages. Okay,
Yeah.
well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. This is section 2, item C. Oh, wait a minute. No.
A,
No,
Yep, A,
we're
excuse
on
me.
signs first.
Yes, excuse me.
there's no E, there's a 6E, right?
It's 6A.
Yes, 6A,
Fine.
to install a sign on commercial building at 18 Strawberry Street. Is the
Yes, and-
applicant with us?
Rachel?
Sorry.
I didn't see, I don't see Rachel on the call, but I
No.
think we have the property, well, the property owner had been on the call as, oh, Mr. Fury, I don't know if he's still there.
Can we push it to the end, maybe? Or
Well,
just-
sure, I'm happy to go ahead and outline what this is about. I apologize to the board as a whole. I'm not sure if signs have been coming before you. As I read your ordinance, signs were a requirement of your authority. So that's why you are seeing sign applications. And it really is to check about the type of material and how it's going, the material being used to hang or mount the signs. It not necessarily is about the content of the signs at all. That is not under your purview. It really is just the material being used. And so with that said, if you want to defer this item and see if the applicant joins us slightly later in this agenda, we can do that.
Yes,
That would be a
Does the
great,
sign dimension meet the,
It does,
okay.
yes.
Just-
With
I
that
mean, there's
said,
a picture of it in here.
there is a picture in here, and again, I think it's a familiar sign because they have a current establishment and they are moving their location, so I think you might have seen the signage before. What does make this different or unique is on this side of the street, they are looking to mount it right on the brick facing.
Yeah, I took a look at this and I checked the measurements. And there's a band of brick that stand tall as opposed to the flat facing brick. And it's going to cover that standing tall brick. It's, it's just something that I noticed. It would be really nice if it was below that band of brick, if they could fit it in. It seems to be like 26.5 inches and her sign is 30.
Right.
You're talking about that ledge
Yes,
along the window?
yes.
the frame of the window, right,
Well, it goes all the way across the whole
Right.
building side.
right.
So
It's a
can we
roadblock.
circle back to this later?
Yes,
assuming
I just
things
wanted
are
to get
fine?
that in there.
We can come back, and if I see her come online, then I'll make a note of that and we can bring this one back.
I think the purpose of pre-applications is for the benefit of the applicant. We're not making any final decisions here. And so it's essential that the applicant be present in my mind anyway.
Yeah, yes, I agree.
Right.
Let's move on.
So moving on, your next one is also a sign request. This one is for 325 Mason, and I think our applicant is available, Meredith Lusk. So again, I'm happy to walk you through the pre-application information. She has been before you before. This is an additional sign request coming to you. And so we have described it. She is looking to have this run perpendicular to the building. So it comes out from the sidewalk a tad, and you can see it from both sides of the walking public. And the dimensions are all contained within the staff write-up.
That's the one.
I think it looks nice.
It does.
Hmm.
Okay. Really nice. You
Yeah.
should say that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, Meredith.
Hi, how are you
How
all?
are you?
Thank you
Good.
so much. I'm sure you all are aware that these signs are all over town. A lot of the businesses use them because when pedestrians are on the sidewalk, they can't see signage that you might have on the front of your building. They need something perpendicular to the sidewalk. So that's all this is. And we've got a nice wrought iron sign bracket picked out. I think that will go with the character of the building.
Yeah, I don't see any problem.
Which side of the front is it going to be on?
I submitted the drawing, I think with the packet. It would be, I
It's
guess
on
that
the
was
side.
the east side of the building, I guess, but closest to Bailey's Bait and Tackle.
Okay, I
There's
see
an
it.
alley there. There's an alleyway there.
So that's going to be perpendicular to the alley?
No, perpendicular to the sidewalk. I couldn't really draw it in there.
Okay,
Yeah, no, I'm just showing where it would attach.
okay.
But it'll be on the far side closest to Bailey's.
Exactly.
Any discussion among the members?
No, I think it's going to be a very attractive sign. I make a motion for the applicant to have certificate of appropriateness. for the sign.
I second. Oh,
Can I get a roll call vote?
Herb, aye.
Kathy, I.
Strube, aye.
Mayor, yes.
Wells, yes. The motion carries. It's been approved unanimously for 325 Mason Avenue. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Have a good
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next one is fencing. We're into fencing now.
And if I can just make a little statement about all of our fencing applications, I know I held off on finalizing my zoning review and indicated I needed to talk with each of the applicants. I have done a further review, and I've also reached out to several individuals that have assisted with zoning enforcement here in the town, and to get their take on how we have done the application of fencing heights. And I just want to make it clear to this board, and this is where I was last month and the month before, and I just need a confirmation on this. When we're looking at a rear fencing request, a rear yard fencing request, it needs to be viewed from the rear property line, corner to corner, and then the rear building corners, corner to corner. That makes up the entire rear yard, and all of that can be 6 feet in height for fencing. Sides would be anything past the rear building corner up to the front of their building corner, or potentially even further into the front yard if that is allowed at all. So I just wanted to get that clear because I think we've had some confusion as to what can be allowed for a rear fencing dimension in the height. So with that said, our first application.
Katie,
Go ahead, Herb.
what was the side heights? I'm sorry.
Side heights would be 4 feet. That's what the ordinance allows on the side. And again, so that would be if they're looking to run along the side of their house, it would be from the rear corner up to the front corner. All of that all that fencing would be 4 feet.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Sure.
It looks like from the map that he's drawn, that's exactly what he's doing. He's
That's
going from the
correct.
back corner of his house to the back property line.
And I have
So
spoken
that-
with all three applicants prior to today to confirm my ruling on this. And what I would be recommending to your board this evening is at 6 feet height. So
Yeah.
our first applicant is 615 Randolph Avenue. He is seeking for a 6-foot tall wooden privacy fence.
Any discussion?
No,
No,
Is this going to be painted?
Hi, this is Dan Bumpus. I'm the applicant. The plan right now is for it to stay in its natural state, so no, it would not be painted. But to be candid, my wife will let me know in a few years if she'd like it painted.
Yeah, generally, the town has white picket fences and
no. The majority of the ones, at least in my area, are all wood, unpainted.
oh, really? Well,
Yep. I'm
I-
looking out my backyard and I can tell you.
well, in the
6 of them.
guidelines, it says white painted wooden fences.
In the guidelines, the
Yes.
historic guidelines, I
Yes.
don't
Yep.
think they designate a color.
Yes, they do.
Well,
I don't think they do designate a color. It says painted wooden pickets are a common fence type used in Cape Charles, although many fences use a combination of traditional materials.
Maybe I'm mistaken, but
yeah, and I would say more than 50% of the fences in town are natural wood. So
I
I would make a
disagree.
motion that we approve the certificate of appropriateness for this fence.
I'll second.
can I get a roll call vote?
Kathy, I.
Strube, yes.
Herb, you're looking that up?
I'm looking it up.
It's on page 28, item 2, if that helps any.
Thank you, Katie.
You're welcome.
Mayor, yes.
I've got 3 ayes.
Herb, aye.
4
It
ayes.
doesn't really specify a color.
No, it
Right.
doesn't. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Okay.
Well, the motion carries to the certificate of appropriateness for 615 Randolph Avenue.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you so much.
The next item is from Jerry and Doug Taylor at 725 Tazewell. They are also looking for two items, a shed and fence. And it's a 10 by 12 Quaker style shed with one barn style door and 7 feet tall double doors on the gable end. And they are looking to construct a 6 foot tall fence that encloses the backyard. And they are looking to have their fence material run horizontally. And again, we've included information about the materials, so I leave it to you if you have any further questions to the applicant.
What's the zoning say? What do you say, Katie?
The height does meet the requirements for the fence itself, and the shed would also meet the requirements based upon their site plan.
Setbacks okay?
Yes.
I make a motion that we approve the certificate of appropriateness.
Do we know what material we're having putting on the fence material?
Would,
The fence will be wooden.
Yeah, you're right. I did not actually get that information from the applicant. Ms. Taylor, did you have that for us?
Yes, hi. It will be wooden. It is listed in the letter, but it is the last sentence saying that it's going to be anywhere between 5 to 6 feet tall and wooden planks. Very similar to the photo that we submitted.
Thank you.
A nice fence.
yeah, really.
Just a note in staff analysis under historic district guidelines, under fences, it says new fences and walls chose a design that relates to designs and materials from nearby historic examples. Painted wooden pickets are a common fence type used in Cape Charles. Okay, painted.
So you could have white, but you don't have to.
Right.
Do I have a motion on the current application?
I had a motion from Herb. I didn't have a second yet.
A second.
Is there any discussion about the shed, materials?
Katie, did you look at the specifications for the shed?
In which way, Herb?
Materials, roof pitch, windows?
Oh, this says a pre-assembled shed with vinyl siding.
Right.
It's
Again,
actually gonna be wooden siding. It's actually going to be wooden, not vinyl.
What kind of wood?
That is,
I mean, it's not textured 111, it's going to be lap stick, right?
right. It's whatever T&K manufacturers, it's going to be the prefab that he uses, that he set several in Cape Charles already. It does not say, it just says wood.
Yeah, well, it would be nice if it was a little more specific.
Yeah, the only thing that's listed on the specification is 4-ply smooth finished plywood
There you go.
Yeah,
and or 5/8 plywood flooring. So I guess that's the flooring. So yes, the 4-ply smooth finished wood plywood.
That's not going to get it. Katie,
I'm listening.
what's the siding? It's not texture 111, is it? Do you have any information on the siding?
I don't have any information on the siding. I think she's indicated it's wood siding. I hadn't heard the measurements of that, no.
Right, but
It
she
just
said
says,
plywood.
in the description, it just says 4-ply smooth finished plywood.
Yeah, plywood's not going to get it because that's texture 111.
Well, it says-
Okay, if we'll do the siding then, the vinyl siding, if we can do that.
Vinyl siding.
Yeah, I don't think, if you look at the picture, E, is that what you're looking at? E, 4-ply, smooth finished plywood. And then you look at where they're pointing to the roof.
Vinyl siding.
I'm looking at A.
It's,
That's
think-
the interior.
I think it's vinyl siding.
Okay,
Yeah, this says vinyl siding. So it's, the plywood is under the siding.
okay, cool.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, so the maintenance-free vinyl siding, she's okay for that.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions on the materials for the shed?
Roof pitch. I don't have a picture, Katie.
I don't either.
It's in the packet.
Yeah,
It's not in my packet.
Should have looked, sorry. You got it, Kathy?
There.
I mean, it was 301 pages.
I know.
I have it on my laptop and I'm
170.
just going through it as we talk.
I'm trying
anyway,
to do that.
there's
I'm
the
not,
picture.
I'm not picking up that photo. That
Yeah.
illustration.
If it helps, just that little white one up in the corner.
Oh, that's cute.
It's a cute little building. You're right. I did not note what the roof pitch would be on this accessory structure. No.
Okay.
And
it's a
it
cute-
doesn't give it in the,
It just says, yeah, it just says 16 inches on center, strong double gusset roof trusses.
The pictures start on 168.
It was a very long packet I had to go through.
It doesn't appear that there's a pitch listed here.
I
oh,
don't,
I don't see it.
Does the pitch, Katie, conform to the pitch of the house that it's going to be put behind? It doesn't have to be.
Herb, I
exact.
don't think our pitches on the sheds have been going to a 12-12 or even an 8-12 on most of them.
Okay,
It's mostly on the main structure.
that was just a question, just a question.
I mean-
It looks like the pitch may align closer to her,
The back edition.
the porch edition.
it's gonna be in that, if you're looking at the photo, it's gonna be in that front right corner.
Right.
Okay,
That's closest to the alley.
okay. Thank you.
Can I get a motion?
I make a motion, we give her a certificate of appropriation
For what, Herb?
Second.
for the shed.
And so far I have this, your motion has been out there for the wooden fence, and this now includes the shed with the vinyl siding, as provided to us.
Correct, correct.
So I have that with a motion and a second.
Yep.
Yes.
Strube, yes.
Take a roll call
Tom, yes.
vote.
Tom, yes.
Kathy, yes.
Mayor, yes.
Wells, yes.
Okay, thank you.
The motion's passed. The approval of certificate of the application is approved for the shed and fencing and at 725 Tazewell Avenue. All right, we can move on to item E. This is for one of our board members, so I think he's going to have to recuse himself. Martin?
That's right.
This is to install a fence and construct two sheds at 521/523 Monroe Avenue. And the applicant is definitely with us. Can you explain what you're proposing?
If I may, before you start, Martin, I also spoke with
Sure.
him. And I think he had submitted his application based upon prior understanding of what fence heights could be. When I reaffirmed with him what my ruling is, that a 6-foot height across all of the rear yard could be installed. I think he would like to amend his application to include a 6-foot fence request as well.
Okay,
And it
so-
would be a horizontal installation also.
okay,
Match the existing one.
Thank you, Katie. That is correct. So it's pretty simple. The rear of the duplex, we wanted to essentially build out the fence from each back corner, put 2 small gates along each back corner where it would touch the house. And to take that, I'm not sure what exactly I've listed in here, 6 to 10 feet off the alley to leave room for golf cart parking.
Yes.
And to put 2 small sheds kind of on each back corner. So right now, as you can see in the pictures, you know, it's just a prime view of the alley. So we're trying to kind of clean that up a little bit.
And just to clarify, it was 8 feet from the alley to the shed.
is that 8
That
feet
sounds right.
measured from the center of the alley or from the closest edge of the alley to the house?
You know, I'm assuming it would be from the center, but my goal would be from the edge of the alley because I wanted to
Okay.
leave enough space.
I'm
for
not
parking.
sure what it is. I'm just asking a question.
Yeah, you know, I'm thinking when we had when we had someone come out for the survey before, I believe it was the center of the alley.
Katie, do you know that? You know that answer?
The fact that he's getting it 2 feet off, he has more than exceeded the zoning requirements.
Okay. That would be from the edge of the alley closest to the house.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm sure that's not marked anywhere back there, but
No.
No,
And so this is also not just for the fence, but it's also for 2 sheds as part of his application.
right.
That's correct.
And I see the shed has wood clapboard siding.
correct.
Very good.
5-inch wood clapboard siding, 7/12 pitch. I think it's approximately 12 foot tall in the center. So the idea would be simply 1 shed for each side, you know, put a gate kind of near each, and then, like I said, leave enough space off the alley for golf cart parking behind them.
Any discussion?
That works for me. I make a motion that we approve the certificate of appropriateness for the fence and the sheds.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Can I get a roll call vote?
Herb, Tom, I.
Kathy, I.
Drew, bye.
Wells, aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Certificate of appropriateness at 521/523 Monroe Avenue for fence and sheds.
We're on.
Congratulations. Good luck.
Thank you.
We're up to item F. Replace the existing front porch and front door at 119 Peach Street. Is the applicant available?
I think Cynthia Wood, I'm going to pronounce her name wrong, Woodmansey is here.
That's correct.
Okay. Okay. Can you explain to us what exactly you want to do?
We are seeking to replace the flooring on our front porch because the current flooring is rotting and warping. We would also like to replace our front door because it is well past its useful life and is in need of replacement.
Okay. And
I see also you're adding a gutter system.
Yes, it's just a traditional aluminum seamless gutter that will be white, which is also the color of the trim on the house, you know, that'll go across the front of the house and the side of the house where we do not have gutters. Currently, where there aren't any gutters, when it rains, the water just comes off the roof like a waterfall. So we'd like to protect our foundation.
the flooring will be an AZAC product, tongue and groove.
It would be. Azek Ton and Groove, it's 3¼ inch exposed, 3½ inch with its groove. And the color will be oyster, which is very, very close to the color that the flooring is currently painted.
The stairs are not going to be replaced? It's just
No,
the
they're in great
approach
condition.
floor
They're in great condition. They're fine.
and the
Assuming
railings?
that the railings, all of that's coming off?
No, that will all be preserved. We're just gonna lift the porch enough to get the flooring out. And then the railings, the columns, all decorative elements will be preserved.
Katie, you have any recommendations on this?
From a zoning perspective, there's no really comment from us because they're not looking to increase or alter the square footage. We did find that this really is fitting in recommendation with the guidelines. So from a staff perspective, we would recommend.
I
Yep,
just I have one
Yeah.
comment. Go ahead, Herb.
the only problem I have is the front door.
Okay, I didn't,
If you look at it, it's a very historic door. There's a letter slot in it, and it also has a centered doorbell.
Oh, that's
the
the Young Love House.
It is.
Pardon?
It
Oh,
is.
I know the people that renovated.
Yeah, that door is historic, Ed.
oh, you're talking about the existing door.
Yeah,
So our take on the existing door is that it definitely is old. There's no doubt about
True.
that. The top window light that's in it that takes up about half of the door probably is not original. You know, that it was probably cut out in order to create light to come into the house, which I appreciate. But it is all, but in doing that, it also compromised the integrity of the door. And so the door itself within the wood has a crack in it. It does not fit in the door jamb properly. And I mean, the wind and the weather are coming through it like a freight train. And I believe in my application, you will see that I propose to replace the mail slot and to use traditional hardware for the doorknob and sort of deadbolt. I can, if you wish, add a mechanical doorbell. I just thought that adding more elements to the door may once again compromise the integrity of the door itself.
I have the same issue with my door. I have a 1/2 inch gap all the way around. And I was told just to put a storm door on,
well, I don't like storm doors, but
a wooden storm door.
you could put, I disagree with storm doors also, that wood or whatever the material. But I do, Ed, really believe that that door is part of the history of the town.
I have to
But
be
if it's
honest,
compromised and it's inefficient and she has weather elements coming in and out, you know, I mean, I understand the history, but they have to be livable.
Kathy, I have the same problem with my wooden doors on my historic house, and I weather strip them.
I did too, still doesn't help. They're all cracked.
No, well, mine works.
I didn't really investigate that particular, I didn't look at the door. I know the house, it's over on Peach.
Right.
I can't comment one way or the other. I mean, we try to preserve the doors, that's for sure.
Would it be helpful if I proposed an absolute replication by using someone like Sewers in Richmond to, you know, make an exact replica of the door?
Oh, I agree with that. To replicate the doors would be a wonderful thing, but I think that you could do it if you just could find, there are carpenters that can realign the door and make it fit correctly without destroying the door, the integrity of the door.
I had the guy that owns Windsor Chairs come out and
Right.
look at mine, and he said he could do that, but he'd have
Right.
to trim it so much that it wouldn't fit flush anymore because it's at an angle. The house has sunken
It's
to the
settled.
point that
We don't
the
know if this is
gaps
the
are
same, we don't know if this is the same situation.
well, I think if she could replicate it. I think,
Well, I would suggest she look into possibly doing it either or. I mean,
The door that is currently proposed is a very close replication. And probably in integrity and construction is not much different than having a true replication made, and absolutely authentic. I mean, I'm flexible as to, because I feel like this is something, the door is not functional. I mean, a couple days ago, the door came off its hinges. I mean, I need a front door that works. And so I'm seeking your advice and approval on, what I can do for this situation.
did you have a carpenter come and look at the door itself?
I did. I have one of the top general contractors here in the area taking care of this. He's online and ready to go
Ready to go with what?
with my porch and door construction.
Would you tell me who the-
But that's with a new door. That's with your new door. Did he look at the existing door? It's
Absolutely. Measurements, looked at it. I mean, we've done a full investigation of the matter.
could you tell me who the contractor is?
Don Appenzeller.
Okay, could I ask you if you could? Never mind.
I've also consulted with Sewers in Richmond about having a replication made. And, that could be a possibility too. I mean, it seems a little extreme to have to ask someone to come from Richmond to do this, but I mean, if need be.
there are people locally that could do it.
I think so too. I've also been consulting with Northampton Lumber and they've been wonderful on this.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Northampton Lumber could probably, they have a mill there and they could probably duplicate anything that you wanted.
I've provided Northampton Lumber with the exact dimensions of the door jamb and the door itself and all of its specs. And they feel that going with a custom door, it's not necessary because my door jamb is a standard size and the door is a standard size.
Correct. Have you talked to a man by the name of Jeb Johnson?
No.
I would suggest you give him a call and ask him about the door, just the door itself.
So are we talking replacement or keeping the existing? Or
I think you could make the existing door viable. The only
honestly,
difference,
Mr.
from
Tom,
a
may I?
safety standpoint, I don't know.
I don't either.
If it's unsafe,
well, the door that you have probably has plate glass, so that's not safe. The new
unsafe
door-
and leaking energy,
I agree
we
with all
would
that.
keep that.
No, I
because it's
didn't say
historic?
that. I didn't say that. Hello, don't put words
Okay.
in my mouth. Kathy, I think that there's other things that could be done rather than just do away with the door. The replication of the door that she has in her pamphlet here is a very good looking door. It's a 2-panel door. It's not bad looking at all.
Would the applicant be willing to get another opinion? I mean, one opinion is not really a good way to approach some of your home improvement
Oh.
projects.
I feel like I have 3 opinions. I've spoken to Sewers, I've spoken to Geppetto in Richmond, I've spoken to Northampton Lumber, and I have Don Appenzeller on board, as my general contractor.
And what's the consensus?
The consensus is the door should be replaced. I mean, the door itself within the wood, not along the seam lines where it's constructed, but within the wood, there is a crack that you can see light coming through. And
It
yes,
doesn't mean that panel can't be fixed. I mean, like I said, I didn't look at that particular door, and I'm sorry I didn't. I'm trying to get to a point where, we can make you happy and we can be satisfied also. I'm just
I mean,
not
I
sure
think
how
that
we're
we
gonna
can
get
meet, I think we can meet your aesthetic sense. I think we can meet your material sense, in that we've chosen a door that is solid wood, and this door also is wood. I feel that, but I do feel that for the energy efficiency of the house and the security of the house, I mean, the door needs to be replaced. And everyone who walks through the door is like, wow, you need a new door. I mean, it's like, you don't have to be an expert to know this door is due for replacement. And I'm happy to do a respectful replacement of the door.
If I
think we're
may,
frozen here.
Mr. Chairman, if I could offer a suggestion to help maybe
Yes,
move
please
us
do.
off the issue of the door. We have a special meeting called later this month, specific to a C3 review. Maybe if we could do a little further investigation, allow maybe yourself and another board member to go out to the applicant's property, look at the door, and see if we can gain a little bit more information between now and the end of the month, and we can just take up the door issue at that specially called meeting.
Is the
I agree with
applicant,
that.
is the applicant okay with that? I mean, you could still get the porch floor done, I believe, without the door being replaced.
Yes, we can. May I make a request that whatever we do about the door, can we be treated on an expedited sort of
This
basis?
would,
Because we've
this would,
waited several months already for this.
this would be the expedited way to go.
Okay.
And we specifically, I was looking at my calendar, I think our meeting is,
It's the 28th.
Yeah.
thank you,
28th of April.
the 28th of
Yes.
April. I had too many things on my calendar. I couldn't find it fast enough.
It's the 28th of April.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it's fine.
So if the board would take up a motion to consider the other elements of her application, that would be great.
Can I
I'll
get a
make
motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we give her the certificate of appropriateness to replace the floor, withholding the door until the 28th meeting of April.
Guys, just
And the
one-
gutter system.
Wait,
One quick question. This is still a pre-application, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
It is, unless there are elements that we feel we
That
can
we
go ahead
can-
and move out to a
Yep.
certificate of appropriateness.
Okay.
Well, then the other alternative would be she'd have to come back to the next meeting for the door. If we
Right, and
didn't-
so that's what we are proposing to do is it sounds like we are in concurrence and okay with her request for 2 items of her application that we can act on this evening. And we will defer action on the door. And I'm asking the board if it's okay if we add that to our special meeting that's on the April 28th and hopefully take action on it at that meeting.
That's correct, Katie.
Okay. Can I,
That's,
is
That's
that
the
the
motion.
motion? Do we have a
Yeah,
second?
yeah, that's the motion I made.
I'll second.
Can I get a roll call vote?
Bye-bye.
Kathy, I.
Strube, aye.
Mayor, yes.
Wells, yes. The application, as stated, will go forward for 119 Peach Street. And the door will be discussed on the 28th meeting to
And
expedite it.
And Cindy-
Ed, if you can figure out how to fix it, I'll invite you to my house and look at mine.
Do
I'm gonna-
I need to provide anything further for that 28th meeting?
Cynthia, I will talk to you tomorrow about this, okay?
Thank you, Katie. Thank you so
Thank
much.
Okay, we're up to item G, to construct a wraparound front side porch and rear deck with a roof and replace windows at 304 Tazewell Ave. Is the applicants present?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, you want to explain your application? Provide us with some information?
Okay. Scott, are you on here? Yeah, Scott.
I did see him earlier. There he is.
Yeah, he's the contractor for me.
Take off the mute.
Still on. Well, I'll tell you a little something.
Okay, we're good.
Okay,
We on?
yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Donald.
Well, what I want to do is I want to turn the house back to its original footprint from when it was built in 1909
by my grandfather. The house was redesigned in 1946 by my grandmother. She removed the original porches and built that addition on the first floor because she was trying to make the house look like a church. Just if you think about it, that's what the house looks like now. It looks like a church. It looks like a congregational church from New England. My grandmother was a missionary.
You mean to say she was a Yankee?
Very much so. So she was a Seventh-day Adventist, and she was her family were way against slavery. What do you call that?
Abolitionist.
Abolitionist. Yeah, she was from an abolitionist family. So she was quite a package, you know. Her father fought in Antietam and Gettysburg. So anyway, she wanted the house to be a church. So she took the wraparound porch off. She remodeled the back porch a little bit, and she built that side addition to be a children's church. So what I would like to do is turn the footprint back to the way it was when it was built in 1909. The wraparound porch and a traditional back porch, and remove the side addition.
Yeah. Do you have any pictures, old pictures?
Yes, I do.
I wish you would have included them in the application.
Well, I mean, I think, Robin, you guys might have the picture, don't you?
We don't have the original of the wraparound porch.
Yeah, I have pictures of the porch from, well, it's not the entire porch, but it's the part that was removed back in 1946. You can clearly see that it had a wraparound porch.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the house. I live across the street.
Okay, well, you can see, if you go over there, you can see a doorway
Yeah,
that has been filled in. You can see the outline of the door.
yes, yes.
I have pictures of my grandfather sitting on the step with my uncle and all this kind of stuff. So it's, you know, it's clear what was there. So I just want to turn it back to the way it was.
Will the porch roof cover any of the windows in the
No.
front?
No. These windows were originally under the original roof, so none of that's going to require anything.
And you want to eliminate the porch on the east side of the house?
Yeah, it's not a porch. It's a one-room addition that has fallen into terrible shape. The roof is caved in and
Correct.
all that. And you
So
can
the-
look.
So that whole side of the house is going to be reconfigured with how many new windows?
None.
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 That's quite a big expanse of just bare wall, blank wall.
Well, there's a window on there.
In the back
On the-
corner.
Yeah, on the landing of the stairwell.
Yeah,
So
well,
it's-
you know, we can't go walking on the property, so I mean, I don't
Yeah,
see
you
how.
can.
Well,
I'll give you permission.
well, okay, now we have permission, but
Yeah, it's,
I see now on the drawing that there's no windows there proposed.
no extra windows, just the original windows.
Yeah,
Everything is going to be returned to original 1909 condition.
and that'll be painted brick.
Yes, sir. Now, originally, it was not painted. It was a gray sand brick. There's several houses in Cape Charles that are made by, I think, probably the same builder. But anyway, since it was painted white, it's got to continue to be painted. So it'll be repainted for sure.
Is there any questions from the board members?
Bad condition.
Is this that?
You have pictures of the original 1909?
not a full view of the house, side of the house.
Okay,
But if you see one side, you can see that what the other side has got to be. You know,
You can see the roof lines on the brick now where it used to
might
be.
help to include that, yeah.
Well, the elevation drawings show everything that's going to be there.
Okay, yeah. Did we see, there's one that was really in bad condition that,
It's that White House on the corner.
yeah, I think that's the one.
That's been growing vines.
If I
Yeah,
may,
there's a lot-
Mr. Chairman, if
Yes.
I did want to know, Mr. McPath, the survey that you included, there's some information here that I can't confirm or ascertain relative to the lot size. It doesn't align with the information we have from the county records or going out to measure it. You're right now indicating it's a 40 by 105 feet is the lot.
well,
And
no,
that's-
it's 80, it's 240s.
Right, 40 by 40. I get that for going across. But as I'm coming down long, you're showing your lot is at 105. Thank you.
Mhm.
Or at 140 from point to point. That doesn't match up with the dimensions that we have in our records. So we need some clarity on the survey as well. So I
What do
need
you
to
have on
talk.
your records?
We were showing this at a 2,800 square foot lot. There are two lots when you add them together. So you're almost at 5,600 square feet between the two lots. So the dimensions just weren't adding up when we looked at this. So I needed some clarity on your survey itself.
What kind of clarity do you need?
I don't think your dimensions are correct.
Well, it was done by a,
And we can go out there and because you're indicating a parcel area of 8,400 square feet total. I don't think it is. So we can go
Well,
out
this-
and mark it with you and walk it. I just don't think that's correct.
it was done by a surveyor, a certified surveyor, Mr. Hogg.
I'm aware of that. And so we're just asking to confirm that information because that doesn't add up. That's all I'm
Now,
saying.
let me ask you this.
Sure.
If you add the 240s across one side and 105 the other way, doesn't that equal one lot? Wouldn't that make one lot?
One lot, which should be at 5,600. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't add up. So it's one of the areas that from a zoning perspective, I can't sign off on this application from a zoning clearance. It doesn't mean the Historic District Review Board can't consider your review. I just needed to make you aware, we need to get clarity on your survey and your site plan.
Katie, if you take both lots, 40
I
and
got-
40, that's 80 feet by the depth of 105, you come up with 8,400 square feet.
I
Right.
understand, but that doesn't match any of our records on our side from either what the county is listing it for, that information as to what they're assessing it for and showing as a dimensional requirement here. So I just need some clarity, that's all.
What does the county have it as?
It's 5,600 square feet for the two lots, for lots A and B.
It's not even close.
Right, that's
No.
why I said we just need to get clarity. I just need to get clarity with you, sir. And so we can spend some time doing that later this week, okay?
Yeah, that's
How
fine.
about tonight?
We can continue with the application. That's a zoning issue.
Right.
Okay.
Let's talk materials. What are we gonna have for the roof, windows, flooring, columns?
That's all on the application as well, but at one point, you guys weren't allowing AZAC decking on the front porch, so we went to an Aeritus so that it could be painted, which is a composite paint grade material. I would obviously prefer to use AZAC. It's a better product. And you
Yeah,
did it.
as, you know, as time goes on, we're all evolving here.
Yeah, I
So-
know, I understand, but I mean, at one point they were saying only wooden decks, which I adamantly, no way. So I was trying to write up what we could use that would satisfy the board. I don't know that Donald cares that much. I know he wants something that he doesn't have to worry about the maintenance on. But as it's proposed, it is Aerotis decking, which is a composite. The windows would be a vinyl replacement window. We're going to leave the jambs and frame, the arch and all that in place. We would only be replacing the sashes basically with a vinyl frame as well that goes inside the existing wooden frames. The posts would be wrapped in AZAC material as well. They'd probably be square, approximately 8x8, which would be a 6x6 wrapped with AZAC. They would be white. The porch decking could be painted a gray or whatever color the homeowner chooses. The roofing shingles will be asphalt, and they would match what's existing on the house that was replaced not that long ago. And any wrap around the house and soffits on his current is vinyl. We would do the same to match what's existing on the rest of the house.
And the fascia boards?
The fascia boards on that house, I believe, are all wrapped metal.
Correct.
Yeah. Don't really care for aluminum covering the fascia boards too much. It's really not appropriate, actually.
Most of his roof is a hip, so the bulk of it would only be the fascia actual board that would be typically where a gutter would go. You're not going to see rakes or anything on these roofs. Everything's a hip.
Yeah. But you want to cap the fascia with aluminum.
Well,
Correct.
I think Donald would be fine either way. I mean, really and truly, we could wrap the beam and the fascia board with a piece of AZAC. It's not a big deal. I was only writing it down because that's how the rest of the house was. It also has vinyl soffits on it.
Yeah. I would prefer that an AZAC product on the fascia as opposed to a pine board, capped with aluminum.
Right. Donald, are you in agreement with that?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I would prefer that too. That would be great.
Yeah. I'm
and,
good.
And the rear porch, those are the same dimensions as the original?
Yes, sir. We want to expand, I believe, the porch by about a foot.
Yeah, we have to stay from zoning. I think we have to be 15 from that back building, which gives us 9 feet total.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not sure I understand that.
I guess from the auxiliary building that's currently on site, the zoning says that I can't put an auxiliary dwelling any closer than 15 feet from the house. I was assuming I wouldn't be able to build the deck any closer to 15 feet to the building that's out there.
Okay.
Obviously, the deck would be way more useful if we could come out 12 feet as opposed to 9, but I don't know what Katie.
So that's a zoning issue?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, we would love to request that, but I don't want to slow this thing down. It's already been a
Okay.
few months.
So all the windows are being replaced.
Yes.
The rear door, front door?
No.
The rear doors are completely non-salvageable. They would be replaced as well. The front door, I don't think we wrote anything about that, did we?
The front door's fine.
Yeah,
It's the original to the house.
right.
In fact, the doors on the
We had the
back.
rear
are
door
the
listed in?
We put the rear doors on there.
I think actually, when the new porch on the back roof is put on, the doors there now might be salvageable.
Is that transom windows over the doors, over the rear doors?
Yes, sir.
Those are existing, right?
Yes. Original to the house.
Yeah.
I think that's the intent on the whole project, is to turn it back to what was original.
We like that.
That's what we're going to do.
And you'll get to see a better house when you look out your window.
Yeah, you definitely got to vote yes on this.
I do have a little bias in there.
Thank you so much.
But I want to leave it up to some of my board members to have any discussion or
I will tell you one other thing. The house is haunted.
Yes, it is.
And I think
Uh-oh.
this work we're going to do is going to encourage the ghosts to go elsewhere.
Now you gotta get the priest to come and do an exorcism.
I don't
did
want them
that in
coming
mine.
across
My
the
house
street.
used to be a
Well, I'm gonna tell you
funeral
right now, if I'm on site and it tells me to get out, I'm leaving.
Don't come my way.
I'm running to your house.
Well, if
Herb,
you
do we
vote
get
yes, you
bonus
won't have
points under
anything to worry
historic
about.
registry?
So you're not going for any historic credits, right? I mean,
I don't know, can I?
tax credit wise,
If I can, I am.
that's,
I don't want to, if it slows things down, I'm not going.
I'm sure it will.
Okay, I don't want to do it then.
But you could look into it if you had original photos and all that stuff.
Okay, I will. I'll think about it.
But in the meantime, any discussion of the board members?
No, I think it's great that the guy wants to restore any house that we have in town.
The only thing I'm a little bothered by is the painting of the brick.
Well, I'll paint it whatever color you'd like, sir.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
No,
Paint-
so we don't want you to paint the brick.
It has,
it's
to be. It's
already
already been painted.
Yeah,
No.
I realize that.
and to try and get the paint off would probably damage the brick.
Could probably blow out
Would
the.
damage the mortar.
Yeah.
So
All right, can we,
I'm gonna paint it, I want to paint it the same color as my neighbor across the street on Strawberry. He's got a nice red house, I believe. You know the one I'm talking about?
up to you.
Thank you.
We don't
We don't pick
discuss
colors.
paint color.
Oh, I don't have to come before you guys to paint it a different color?
No.
No, I don't believe so. We haven't
All
had
right.
any of that.
All right, well, that's good to know.
Katie, do you have a motion?
If the board is prepared, it sounds like you are, you don't need further
Yeah.
information or pictures. It sounds like you're prepared to move this to a certificate of appropriateness
Yes, you have-
as presented. I
Yeah,
did make a
I
couple
do.
of notes, so just so I'm clear on this, the fascia board, it sounds like you're willing to make that AZAC.
Correct.
And the sashes, just because that was new information, it will be a vinyl frame inside the existing wood frame,
Correct.
and everything else will be as presented by the applicant.
Correct.
I have one more item. On the wraparound porch on the front, that window is going where the old door was?
No.
There's no window.
There's no window? I'm looking at the wrong side.
We're not
Okay.
adding any windows or taking them away.
Okay.
It's gonna be original number of windows.
So I don't know what elevation I'm looking at here.
Side you would be looking at would be 4 windows.
Yeah,
That window's currently there. Where there was a door before is right close to where that 8x8 post is.
okay.
When the 8x8 post and that window was a door.
Yeah, I
At
didn't
one
realize
time.
that window already exists. I
Yes,
thought-
it does.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Go ahead. I think you got it all closed down now, or
Don't worry about it.
Okay, Katie, you got that?
I think I've got that, so I think we're good for a motion as I discussed with you just now.
Okay. I make a motion that we offer certificate of appropriateness as per Katie's notes.
Is there a second?
a second,
Roll call vote?
Herb, aye.
Kathy, I.
Politician.
Struba.
Yes.
Wells, aye.
Wake up, Martin.
It's the motion is passed and
And Donald, I will get up with you, I'm not sure tomorrow, but by Thursday to resolve the site plan.
Okay, just give me a call, and I live in Virginia Beach, but I can be here really quick.
Or Scott, I'll bother you.
You can always bother me.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
not be bothered.
That's right.
Thanks, Scott.
Oh, thank you.
Good night.
right. All right, we're up to item H, to demolish accessory building
can you
and
believe it?
construct a new garage at 116 Tazewell Avenue. Is the applicant here?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay. Yes. I
Hi,
can.
okay, great.
Hello.
The owner would like to demolish an existing non-contributing structure. There's a shed in the backyard that faces the alley, and she wants to replace it with a new golf cart garage that looks more like the existing house. It would have a hip roof. It would have 4-inch exposure on the siding, similar windows. And the detailing on the fascia and the roof overhang would also match the house with all of the crown moldings, et cetera. And we would probably use an AZEK or Versatex product to do that. When I clicked on the agenda link, a lot of my pictures, a lot of the information doesn't seem to be in there. So I'm not sure if you have all the information. It looked like there were several blank pages.
Sometimes it comes up, it's blank and then it reappears.
Maybe. Okay. Do you have the pictures of the existing house and the existing structure?
I'm looking, I have blank also.
Yeah, it's like I only like 3 out of the 10 or 11 pages seem to be there.
I have
Okay.
the
I have some artist,
elevations.
I have your renderings here. Some
Right,
elevation.
but there were photos of the existing structure, there were photos of the house. It just, yeah, it looks like maybe the pages didn't get flipped and got blanked.
Right, here's your existing structure that you're proposing to remove.
Exactly.
You can see the house behind it. It's that yellow
Yes.
one.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Do you all have any questions?
Well, Katie, do you have anything to suggest here?
Again, it's a legal non-conforming property or structure in the use. And the accessory structure is a continuation of that legal non-conforming use, which is allowed. And it does meet the requirements of the zoning ordinance with its setbacks. So we are good from it from a zoning perspective.
Okay.
And we did provide on my report, if it helps any, we try to give a summary of all the material being proposed for use on this project.
1 story?
It's,
Yes.
yes, it's 1 story. And it's
Okay.
not, they're not going to be using it as an accessory dwelling unit.
Thank you. Any questions, Ed?
No, I like the materials. I like the details.
Thank you. We're hoping to bring it more in keeping and using the same language as the
Did
house.
everybody just freeze?
Yeah, that's what we like.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it looks
I
lovely.
do too. I do too.
Anybody have any discussion or comments,
No,
observations?
no.
Does anybody want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion. Michael Strube, you go ahead and make one. Michael,
Yes,
go ahead and make a motion.
yeah, I make a motion to approve the certificate of appropriateness.
Can I get a second?
Second,
Second that.
Can I get a roll call vote?
Herby,
Drew, bye.
Wells, yes.
Mayor, yes.
The motion passes to the motion for the application at, where am I? 116 Tazewell Avenue.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
everyone.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving along here. We're up to I. To restore, replace the exterior siding and trim at 547 Mason Ave. Is the applicant here?
Yes, sir.
Can we get a brief description of what you want to do?
Yes, what I'd like to do is where the siding was wood underneath the vinyl siding and asphalt shingles, it was the original 5-inch reveal lap pine siding. The left and right side of the front original part of the house will be restored to the wood with epoxy, and the back side with the photographs the wood was no longer any good, along with the front of the house, and that we are proposing to replace with hardy plank.
So, go ahead, continue.
And the wood frames around the windows would be wood. And the eaves, I don't know if you call them eaves, or where the rafter tails are, won't be boxed in. They'll just be painted rafter tails.
Exposed
So
rafter tails?
Yes.
We have seen you before this board before, and I can't recall what the determination at that time was for the siding. So I don't know if that's on your application here or not.
Well, the siding before, what the problem was that I was given a stop work order for lifting up the siding to replace the sill and the piers of the house. Then the rest of the siding came off of the house after that, which I probably should have come in front of you. I didn't realize that I should have come in front of you in order to, I guess, remove any siding or replace any siding.
So what areas do you want to replace with hardy plank right now?
I want to replace the back, say, third of the building, and also the very front of the building.
Well, I think you already have the back third already completed, don't you?
Not all of it. No, sir. The west side isn't replaced.
Okay.
Or is the above the deck in the back of the house. That's not
Okay, so it's
replaced.
just the east side that I'm looking at in the picture that's completed?
Yes, sir. That and the lower of the back.
Okay, yes.
And it was just in such bad shape, I had to put it on there to keep the rain out of it.
So you're proposing to continue on the rear of the west side and the front of the building?
Yes, and everything else that you can see from the street that looks like gray wood,
Yes.
that will be restored to the original material.
You have enough original material to complete that?
Yes, below what's there, back to where the hardy plank will be. And if I don't, I'll find out from you what you want me to use to replace it where it is wood. I'd prefer not to. I don't want to mix a hardy board with the wood.
Yeah.
So if it can be either pine or white cedar, I don't know what you recommend.
Well, I would assume that we would recommend to match what's existing.
Okay.
I mean, if you can.
Yes, sir.
Is there any other changes on the front of the building as far as openings, doors, or windows?
The window upstairs will go back to the original windows that were in the attic. See the plywood in that photograph?
Yeah.
That's where the windows will go.
Where the vent is?
Below that, there should be a photograph there of the front of the building with two pieces of plywood.
Right, and they're like
Yep.
at a,
Yeah, that was underneath the vinyl siding when it was taken off.
okay. So that's not one window. That looks like,
It's two. It was sort of kludgy, and it's two opening windows.
okay.
So the vent is going to be,
The vent was put on when the vinyl siding was put on. And that was a modern thing when they covered up the asphalt shingles with the vinyl. That's when they added that.
so you're going to leave the vent and just put two opening windows
No,
on-
just two opening windows. I'll get rid of that vent because it seemed like that was a modern thing that was added when they covered up the asphalt shingles.
So the windows are gonna be what size? I can't.
They were original. They're probably 1.5 feet by 4.
And
or
that
the
center,
total-
the center section will just be wood siding straight up the middle?
I'm sorry, what's that?
The center where the vent is, the plywood, it looks, I don't know. That's gonna be just wood siding and you're gonna have two smaller windows, or are they gonna be side by side, or is there gonna be a
Yeah, the
separation?
windows are side by side and the siding will butt right up to it.
All of that's gonna be reframed when the vent's pulled out, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah, where that plywood is, it'll have to be reframed.
What type of windows are you proposing?
They were in the attic when we started doing that work.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions, discussion?
Well,
Mr. Herb?
it's,
I think he's doing a good job on restoration.
yeah, it looks like, in the right direction. It's
Yep,
been needed for a long time.
yes, you're doing a good job on that.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay, Katie, you have anything for us on this?
You're
on
muted,
mute.
Katie.
Katie,
Thank you.
wake up.
Sorry about that. My internet went out on the item before and a portion of this item, so I'm sorry about missing the conversation. As I indicated, from a zoning, it doesn't enlarge or alter the scope of the structure, and it meets the zoning ordinance requirements.
Okay.
Okay, can we get a motion?
Yeah, hey, Martin, why don't you make a motion for this one?
I would like to make a
Get
motion
tired of
to,
motions, Herb?
What? Go ahead, Martin.
I would like to make a motion to approve as proposed.
And it's for a certificate of appropriateness.
Correct.
Can I get a second? Is there a
I'll
second?
Second.
I'll second it.
Okay, can we get a roll call vote?
Herb, aye.
Kathy, I.
Strube, aye.
Mayor,
Wells,
yes.
Wells, aye. The motion is passed for the application of 547 Mason Avenue. Good luck.
Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'm usually there.
Okay,
Just drop by. If there's anything I can do for anybody, just let me know.
very good.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay, we're
you.
up to letter I.
Did
So-
you, actually, we finished I.
We did
Yeah,
aye.
how many
That's-
hours of public comments do we have now?
Not much. Did we approve 116 Tazewell? My internet went out, so I didn't hear what you
No,
did.
we didn't. We didn't.
You didn't.
do,
Okay, I'll catch up from there. Okay.
I don't think-
Yes, yes, 116 Tazewell, we approved.
Okay.
We
That
approved
was the
116.
shed.
Yes,
That
that
was-
Yeah,
was
the
the
shed.
shed. Okay, thank you.
I think we're up to,
We're up
You're
to
up to
J.
J.
Yes.
Hey,
To replace the roof and to construct additions on the side and rear of 114 Pine Avenue.
Okay.
Barrett, are you here?
I
that's
think our
Barrett.
applicant is here.
He was here.
That's
And while
Barrett.
he's hopefully coming back online, since we deferred taking in our public comments that were received, Libby is prepared, I think, to read in our public comments received at this point in
He's
time.
here. Barrett, you're muted.
So
You're
Libby,
muted.
you're up.
Yes, all righty. We have a handful of public comments. The first one is from Jim Granger. Says, members of the Historic District Review Board, I'm writing in support of Barrett Cree's request to add an addition and a new porch to his house on 114 Pine Street. He has already been approved through this process once before an accident and the illness, death of his father caused a delay in the project. Frankly, I don't understand why there isn't a process to obtain an extension and save the trouble of repeating the entire costly process. Either way, I support the modifications to his residence. I'm going to mute her for just a second because there's a echo.
Herb, you're being censored.
Okay, okay. The next comment is from Sherry Reynolds. Says, dear members of the Historic Review Board, we are permanent Cape Charles residents living at 226 Randolph Avenue, and we are writing in support of the reapproval of the application of Barrett Cree's porch and addition at 114 Pine Street. We ask that you do whatever is necessary to help Mr. Cree continue work on his property renovation, understanding that his plans have already been approved before by this body. Please read and include these comments of support in the permanent record of your meeting. Next one is from Michael and Rebecca Bowers. We live at 209 Mason, which overlooks the front of the property belonging to Mr. Barrett Cree. Since the original permit was issued, there have been extenuating circumstances as to why work could not be carried out. A permit that was originally granted would seem to be eligible for a newly established time frame, as it was deemed acceptable in the recent past. Mr. Cree is a longtime business owner in the community and is mindful of the values and importance that the historic area represents. His property will add value to other properties around it. As residents of town, we are aware of a number of dilapidated houses and businesses, as well as hordes of unhoused junk boats and trailers that sit unused for years that do not seem to get the attention of council. These problems persist even while someone who is trying to do things the right way gets penalized for no clear reason other than the passage of time. We respectfully request that the Historic Review Board and Council approve Mr. Cree's building permit. This next one is from Ian Millington. We are very proud to call Cape Charles our town. Our neighbors take a lot of pride to help restore the homes of Cape Charles. It is very sad that so many homes are left vacant and make our property values decline. I hope the town will approve the building permit for Barrett Cree. I know Barrett will renovate this property to the standards required by the town. Thank you. Property owner Jennifer Millington, 339 Randolph Avenue. We have one from Danny Mayer. To the Cape Charles Historic District Review Board. As owners of 405 Randolph Avenue and the Harvey Building, we are in full support of approving the construction of a porch and addition at 114 Pine Street as previously approved by this board and permitted by the building department. There should be no reason to deny this request. This application was made, approved, and a building permit issued. It seems like a penalty to have to reapply to HDRB if, as the applicant indicates, there is no process for building permit extension, which you tried to apply for prior to its expiration due to unforeseen circumstances. This is from John Cordell. This letter to the Cape Charles Historic Review Board is in support of an extension to the building permit to allow Mr. Barrett Cree to continue construction of a new porch and addition at 114 Pine Street. As a new resident of Cape Charles at 300 Mason Avenue, Unit 2B, I have gotten to know Mr. Cree and am convinced that as a longstanding local resident, he will improve his property in compliance with local guidelines and that his changes will be an overall positive contribution to Cape Charles. 2020 was a tough year for everyone, and if ever there was a case to provide some latitude for someone who has followed the rules and give them the benefit of the doubt, this is it. I'm happy to be contacted at, he provides his email address with any questions. I recommend Mr. Cree's application be approved without any changes by the Historic Review Board and ask that my comments be publicly read into the record. Eric Puyat. I'm not sure if that's the right pronunciation. He's an owner at Pine and Monroe. Says, I was in favor of the proposed improvement at 114 Pine Street when it was approved, and I maintain my support. It is necessary to improve on the appearance of the Pine and Randolph intersection. Unforeseen circumstances, including COVID, delayed the implementation of the proposed project, a porch and an addition to the house. I expect the review board to confirm its previous acceptance of the project, taking into consideration the difficulties of last year, and there is no change to the application. From Brad Gerber. As owners of 222 Randolph, we are in full support of approving the construction of a porch and addition at 114 Pine Street as previously approved by this board and permitted by the building department. We see no reason to deny this request. This application was made, approved, and a building permit issued. As his neighbor, we are in full support of his request for an extension. Please ensure this is read publicly. Bill and Ann Haywood Walker. My husband, Bill Walker, and I respectfully request that the previously approved permit application for a porch addition be renewed without additional fees or delays. From our understanding, the lapse of this permit before construction was implemented was due to errors in the communication of the permit requirements, as well as an illness by the applicant. The lapse appears to be a bureaucratic miscommunication issue rather than one of substance. Example, non-compliant design or lack of support. Therefore, I ask the town and/or board find an appropriate means to allow this project to proceed immediately as previously planned and approved. The applicant has purchased the materials and is ready to proceed. We support improvements like this to the town. We have every confidence that this porch will be an aesthetic amenity and contribute to a good first impression of Cape Charles. The porch will face Randolph Avenue, which is the most direct traffic entrance to the town and the beach. It occupies a visually important corner, which has been quite plain and even unattractive for a long time. We have resided here full-time since 1997. Okay, Jack Forgosh from 307 Randolph Avenue. The town of Cape Charles and the town residents coexist within a partnership. Leaders are either elected by their citizens or appointed by those elected to do what is in the best interest of the town and its residents. As a homeowner who recently renovated my home within the historic district, I find it unfair and unprofessional to make changes to what had already been approved and permitted by a prior board. Mr. Cree is an important contributor to Cape Charles. His intentions are good and honorable, and he is trying to do his best to lift up the Cape Charles community. Please honor the original permit that had been originally approved by the town of Cape Charles. Okay, last one is from Richard and Michelle Bush. As owner of 603 Monroe Avenue, my wife and I are in full support of approving the construction of the porch and addition at 114 Pine Street. Due to unforeseen circumstances, along with the hardship of the COVID-19 pandemic, please reconsider Mr. Barrett Cree's permit, which was previously approved by the board. Okay, I will unmute Herb and mute myself.
Well, I'd like to know if Kate has any comments on this. Evidently, that's not one of the powers that's invested in the planner to be able to do that if there's been absolutely no changes or no reason to bring something to the attention of the board.
As noted in the staff report, the HDRB heard this in January of 2018.
Yes.
And you actually approved this on January 16th with a certificate of appropriateness for the scope of work listed. I know at that time, Mr. Cree had to also go before the Board of Zoning Appeals to seek a variance, and that was heard on February 5th of 2018, and that was also approved by that board for that variance. So it did make his application complete, and he could have proceeded at that point in time, and the certificate of appropriateness was issued. Under the ordinance, it does require the applicant to take a proper application and proceed with it. And you have 1 year from a certificate of appropriateness being issued for it to be complete, or it expires naturally. There is no mechanism under the ordinance in which the administrator could reissue this. It needed to come back before this board since the certificate of appropriateness expired in 2019. And it's been 2 years since this has had any movement or activity on it from your perspective. So in working with Mr. Cree, there was an additional item that he was hoping to have done on his property. We've asked him to defer acting on that and only advance the exact same application that the HDRB saw in 2018 for this porch and addition. And that is what he has done to get it onto tonight's calendar. And I think he will be coming forward with a modification relative to a fence request. That will be handled separately.
Okay, well, that's, I mean, I just, that, so you don't have that power. It has to come before the board and we'll do it. So, and that's just the way it is. I don't know what, there seem to be some displeasures, but, you know, there haven't been any further delays or anything. This is what has to be done, is to come before the board to just get the verdict.
Right, and so we have brought it forward as timely and as quickly as we possibly can for the consideration of Mr. Cree's application. I
Sure.
recognize we received quite a bit of public comment. I really hope that is not the focus of our conversation at this point. I hope it really is, from the board's perspective, to focus on re-examining the application and determining if you are ready
Right.
to set a new calendar for it, basically.
Okay, well, okay,
I'd
thank
just
you.
like to note, I'd just like to note that that was 3 years ago, and none of the current board members was not on that board at that time. I'd just like that to be in the record. Barrett, do you have anything to include?
I have a lot to include, but I think that this board has done an unbelievable job tonight, hearing so many applicants and moving their plans forward. I think that I did everything that I knew when I recognized I would not be able to meet the time frame prior to my permit expiring.
Yeah, well, let's not get into that issue. I mean, I think that's what Katie was hitting on. It's water under the bridge, really. We don't make the rules up as far as timing, periods of permits, how long they can be in existence before they expire. That's not our purview. That's not our dealings with here. So I think that should not even be discussed, to tell you the truth. We don't enforce any fines. We don't enforce renewals. We don't do any of that stuff.
Okay, so if it was approved before and absolutely nothing has changed, what would stop us from just going ahead and approving it
I
now?
would just ask that if there's any discussion, of this application, of this previous application.
The only thing I think, Ed, is it says to replace the roof. What's the shingles?
I'm not sure where you're at, Herb.
It says applicant for the certificate to replace the roof and construct an addition of a side and rear single-family detached porch, 114 Pine Street.
Okay.
It doesn't seem to be very detailed. I was going to ask some questions myself.
I just want to know about the roof.
Well, I have questions on the materials list. I don't see any siding, windows, trim, porch, flooring, columns, rails. I don't see any of that materials listed, which I find very curious.
So I had submitted, maybe if I can just back up a minute to say that when I first came to the Historic Review Board in the BZA, which approved my plans unanimously, I hand drew out what you have and what you see in front of you. When I went to go get my building permit in February, I was told that I then needed to actually get the plans stamped. I didn't know that. I thought I could actually work with a contractor at that time and basically build out what I had submitted within the dimensions of what I provided. I was told, no, I needed plans stamped, and that's the first thing that delayed. So the plans, I have a full set of plans that were designed by Leon Parham, who is probably one of the more premier architects.
Yeah, I see the plans. There's plans on here, but unfortunately, when they're converted to our iPads and whatnot, they're so tiny you can't read anything. It's ineligible.
Okay, so if you would like to, it's really my hope that the board would not take this opportunity of such a misfortunate year that I had to basically open up and re-examine an application that had been fully approved and permitted by the building department that met all codes, setback requirements.
Well, I didn't want to go there, Barrett, but I disagree with you. That was a board that none of these members, current members, were even on. And it's a simple request to ask the basic facts of building materials, I don't feel is inappropriate.
Well, I would
And
be
this
happy.
application's been on for 3 years. Okay, I
No,
understand.
that would be incorrect. That statement I think is incorrect because I actually went through the process. I delivered to the building department what they wanted. They then submitted it. By the time I submitted plans, it sat in the building department for 2 months before they even issued my permit. 12 days later, I'm in a severe accident. So it's not been like it's been sitting out there for 3 years. I went to the building department and submitted a permit before that year expiration of the certificate of appropriateness, meeting my timeline deadline.
Well, we're reading February of 2 years. Like I said, I didn't want to go into these kind of details.
Well, if I may, Chairman, maybe to assist in this conversation, Barrett, can you provide us any of the material information relative to, say, we'll start with the roofing?
I can, and in fact, Katie, it's part of my full plans. I'm sorry that they can't see what that is, but I'd be happy to answer questions regarding.
Well, and Barrett, I do want to say, yes, this is what we received from you, from Liam Parham.
Okay.
It is very difficult to read. It is impossible to read, and we cannot enlarge it from the version we received. So I don't know if the material information is contained on these 2 documents, these 2 pages from Mr. Parham or not. But I guess that's information we're trying to see if we can move forward this evening on. Can you provide us any of the materials list for the roofing, for the porch flooring, for the siding? Is that something you have to help move this conversation
Yes.
along?
So, so ask me specifics and I will do my best to answer. And it's my deepest regret that my architect could not actually participate in this hearing tonight.
So we'll start with the siding. What is the materials being proposed for the siding?
So the existing house itself is not being changed. So what we're talking about is only changing material change on the new addition, which, the historic review has always, wanted something that actually would designate old from new. And so the new addition would be AZAC.
Thank you. Okay,
I don't believe that's a siding material.
It is. It's actually a vertical, and my apologies. I know the building department has plans on this. I am sorry that it did not get submitted, but it is basically AZAC that's about this wide.
So you're talking a board and batten type look?
Yeah, that's exactly. I'm sorry. Yes. I wish my architect was here to answer those. But that's what it would be.
Okay. The porch material, flooring?
The porch material is actually would be concrete. The columns would be your standard 6x6 wrapped in AZAC.
Okay. Your windows.
Windows of the existing are as is. The new windows would be vinyl or a fiberglass composite, something that is actually would be a double pane and actually has some energy protection there.
I don't know what's on your house now. What kind of trim do you have on those windows?
When you say trim, can you?
The casing around the windows?
Wood.
I think they're wood, Ed.
I don't know the dimensions, so.
They're 1/1s too.
And again, the hope is that, you know, honestly, this is probably one of the least attractive homes on Randolph Avenue. There's not really much change in that on the exterior, but the hope was to.
If it helps, that's a picture of the front.
Yeah, I lost my connection on my iPad.
I know, that's what I figured. So those are what the windows are now.
Do you know what the existing roof pitch is and what the proposed porch would be?
Yeah, so I think the roof pitch is 4, and because I don't have much pitch there, that's really quite a concern with every roofer and contractor I've spoken with. But the addition on the porch, the roof on that would be standing seam metal.
No, right.
It says on the drawings, the new porch roof is 1 1/4, 12.
That's probably a 412 pitch.
12.
Okay, it says 1 1/4.
That is the bare minimum, Kathy, of a pitch that's actually acceptable. I can't do anything about it. In fact, partly what has delayed some of this was I actually pursued raising the house. And in fact, Chris Bannon, many years ago, he had maybe about 20 or 30 years ago, he told me that he had water hit his first step. So I paid to actually have that elevation transposed to my house. And my house was just only 9.5 inches above that step. So I literally poised and spent 2 months getting prices from contractors to raise, only to find out they would totally damage my foundation in order to raise it. And the least amount it would cost to raise it was $45,000. I had previous discussion with Jeb about this and what the requirements might be that the town would place, but ultimately just the cost to raise it was unaffordable to me.
So that pitch is actually 1 1/4 inch to every foot. That is very, very shallow pitch.
Yeah.
All I got, but it does, I'm based on, you know, again, Leon Parham.
If Leon put it in there and it's been approved, I mean, I'm not going to question it. It's just.
Yeah. But I can't create much more pitch.
Do you understand that we were just trying to figure out what materials you're trying to use, because by your submission of the application, I couldn't surmise too much of anything.
And I totally regret now knowing that what I submitted to you wasn't enough for y'all to have a comfort level. I thought I'd sent everything that I could that would be helpful. There
was plenty there for sure, but not a lot that I could decipher some of this stuff from. Yeah, like I said, I lost my connection on all my.
Sure. So we've identified siding, porch materials, windows, the roof pitch. Have we identified the roofing material?
Yeah. So again, my thing is to not change anything because I simply don't want to open up a Pandora's box here.
So it's the same material in your existing house. You're going to use that for your addition.
No. So the addition. Oh, you're talking the addition now, not the porch.
Just your addition.
Okay, to the east. So that is proposed to be, your typical asphalt shingle, which is what I have on there is asphalt shingle. It was my hope that seeing now I'm back before this board under the same project for the same footprint, same layout, is that this board might actually give me the option with a certificate of appropriateness that I may be able to actually do all standing seam, which will help compensate for my low pitch of the existing.
So you're asking for a modification of this current
No,
application?
I'm simply asking for y'all to issue a certificate of appropriateness based on what was approved previously. And that's it. But if y'all could actually look at it now and discuss amongst yourself whether or not you would have a problem with that. If you didn't, I certainly would like that option, and certainly is what contractors are saying would be a much better roof given my pitch. But I'm not going to do anything to change what I've put before.
I'm a little confused on the new porch that you're proposing. That was going to be a standing seam roof, correct?
Correct. That's right.
That was going to tie into your existing roof.
That's right.
Now you're asking to cover your entire roof on the existing house with standing seam.
If y'all
including
didn't
the
have
new
a problem
porch.
with it. If you have a problem with it, then let's leave it as is.
Well, that would be a modification, wouldn't it, Katie?
It would be, and again, we tried to keep this on the straight and narrow because we put Barrett in the line of tonight's agenda very last minute, with the assurance that we would not look to alter any element of his prior approval.
I'm not trying to alter anything, but I mean, I don't know how the other board members feel.
And that again, I defer to the board if you view that a material change, or is that an approved change from your perspective?
Ed, hey, Ed, it's Herb. Ed,
yeah.
412 pitch, it would really be much better to have a standing seam roof for the moisture.
Oh, I
rain.
agree. I think that 1 1/4 to 12 is nuts.
I know it.
But that would be your porch roof now? That's how it's drawn on the plans? The porch roof is gonna be 1 1/4 to 12.
Mm-hmm.
And if you change the whole roof to a standing seam, you can get a different pitch? I'm not sure that I see that.
You're not going to get much of a I don't think we're going to get much of a different pitch. I mean, obviously, the higher we kind of go up to that roof peak.
Oh, you want to go up higher on your existing roof to get the higher pitch. That's a change from the architect, wouldn't it?
No, I don't want to change that. But what I'm saying is that's the only way you could actually raise it. But everybody I've spoken to has stated nothing but concern about the low pitch.
Exactly.
I'm sure Leon tried to get as much pitch as possible. I mean, he's been down this road before. But what do you have to say, Herb?
I think that what Barrett's looking for is just what you and I were talking about. If we went up the roof towards the ridge, he can gain to maybe a 312 pitch, which would help the drainage.
I'm not so sure. If Leon didn't do that from the beginning, I don't know.
I don't have the drawings in front of me, so.
I don't.
But I think that what Barrett's after is acceptable, in my opinion.
It would be better.
Yeah, I think so. It's not, the building itself is not what you call historic anyway, is it, Ed?
No, this is a non-contributing structure.
Right. So.
There is a couple of standing seam roofs right in that neighborhood also.
Right. I think that we ought to be able to be flexible enough, since what Barrett's been through, to make some exceptions to help him out. That's just my opinion.
So everything else would stay the same except for the change in the roof that we talked about.
Correct.
Okay.
Which was already pre-approved, Kathy, years ago.
Right. Which really there shouldn't be any change in that, because
No,
if they were following the same guidelines.
Right.
No,
the
we're
only-
not, we don't want to change anything. We just wanted to get some clear.
No, I didn't mean that we were gonna change. I'm saying if it was approved before, then we should approve it because the guidelines haven't changed.
I think so.
All right, do you
I
want a
would like
motion?
to
Ed?
make a motion to approve it.
Oh, would you want to, do you want to include the,
With
The
the
addition-
change in the roof line, because I think that would be an improvement and be better for the house, both aesthetically and structurally.
I'm
With the
not
standing
sure Barrett's
seam?
looking. I'm not sure he's looking for the change in the roof line, but just the change to the standing seam metal roof.
Which would go all the way up.
You're talking about the type of material, standing seam roof material.
Correct.
Yes.
Sorry,
Now, if they're
sorry,
gonna
Kathy.
change the roof pitch, that's a different can of worms.
So you actually are proposing a motion to reauthorize the certificate of appropriateness from 2018 with one modification for the roof to be a standing seam metal roof.
Correct.
Correct.
Is it, somebody have a second on that?
I'll second it.
Can I get a roll call vote?
Herb, aye.
Is there any discussion first?
No.
Kathy, I.
Strube, aye.
Mayor, yes.
Herb?
Aye.
And I'll vote aye. I would just say one thing, Barrett, if you have notions of changing that pitch, you're gonna have to go to Leon. And, that's gonna be up to you, and then you'd have to come back before us. So,
Hang on, I just want to show y'all one thing, because
I should say that the motion's been carried with the modification of adding the additional metal standing seam roof.
Oh, that's in the packet.
Yeah, I seen that, but I can't pull anything up right now.
so.
Yeah, it's a very low pitch.
Yeah, and this just has such a nice, attractive appeal to it. It just, and having that break, from the original roof line to the new
Last one.
to the new porch roof line, it's a balance. And that line, that break's going to be plus or minus, where it's indicated. But Ed, I think to go up further, yeah, it might increase it some, but I don't know that it will increase the attractiveness. And I think that kind of break in that offers a nice kind of contrast between the two.
I think it'll be a great addition. It's just a low pitch, and if the architect felt that it'll drain properly, then so be it.
And that's
And,
really why he had, and first off, I want to just thank the entire board for reissuing the certificate of appropriateness. I'm highly grateful that I landed back at your footsteps and that you were actually amenable to allowing the roof now to be a complete standing seam roof, which is a far more better material that will be way more attractive for so many years and will actually offer a problem-free roof compared to asphalt shingles at such a low pitch.
Well,
So
we're
I'm
sorry
grateful.
that you had to go through so much anguish.
You know what
last
is
couple of
worth it,
years.
right? It's to come back here, for me to be able to pursue. I'm just grateful, and I want to thank you all for your
Okay.
consideration.
Well, thank you. And with that, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Wait,
make
we
a-
still have
Oh,
one
we
more.
got one more.
Oh, no.
We're not done yet,
We got
Ed.
another one.
We've got,
geez.
we've got two more, actually. We still have the
More.
sign from earlier.
I know, we still have
Oh, yeah.
Strawberry
Okay.
Street, so we have to
Thank
decide
you
on that
all.
one.
Martin, you got
Thank you,
your
Barrett.
memory's
Good
too
luck.
good.
Thank you.
Okay, we're up to item K. After the fact approval to install new railing on the front porch, replace a rear door and add steps and a landing at 315 Randolph Avenue. Is the applicant present or on?
I do not see that she is on.
Oh, wait, went to bed.
Might have fallen asleep.
Went to bed.
Again, we put this one forward to you because it started out as an enforcement issue, because they were working without a permit. It again looks like a project that started with just a little bit of renovation work that wouldn't require review or a permit, and has kind of expanded beyond and needed a permit. So we brought them in before you. So I don't know if you have any questions or if you would like us to reschedule this when we can have the applicant present.
What does the board members feel?
I'd like to see them reschedule when the applicant can be present.
Yes.
Yes, I agree.
Can we push that to next week, a week from tomorrow with the other?
28th, yeah.
If I am able to, I will put that on that agenda. I will talk with the applicant and see if we can get her to be a part of that meeting. That
Yeah, I
one
mean,
will be an in-person meeting because we are doing it on site at Custom Carts location. So I will see if she can join us.
This is after the fact.
Yes.
So everything's already done there. So
Not quite everything is done.
No?
We made them stop work. So there's still
well,
some work that has to be completed.
Well, I think everything's almost completed.
Right. We think the bulk of it is done, but we did make them stop. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so we will get in touch with them to come before you again. And then coming
Sign.
back to.
We have a sign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
18 Strawberry Street. And I know we didn't have the applicant on for tonight. I didn't know if you needed to hear from her or if the application made sense as to what she's looking for her sign. Again, this is a pre-application. So.
I don't know how the other board members feel about just having that sign within the brick area, that it's not covered with that separation of the other brick.
No,
It
I
just
think it
seems
should
to-
be smaller.
It seems to just fit in that area better.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ed.
But she
I
can't
don't
go
know.
any bigger.
It can go smaller,
It would have to be about 3.5 inches shorter.
right?
She
Then
has
you
an
wouldn't be able to
existing,
read it.
she has an existing sign from a previous
That's the sign.
location,
Right.
and she wanted to just bring it over and use it. That is my understanding.
Okay, so I can reach out to her with your comments and see if she can make that accommodation and change in her application or not.
Cool. Works for
Martin, you
me.
have something to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say it's interesting looking at it because the placement is not centered above the door.
No.
You know,
Oh,
the windows
that
don't
was-
align.
That was just me. I don't know if I drew it well. I was just trying to give you an idea of where it would
Okay.
go that was bad sketching from my end.
You know,
Sorry.
there's two other signs to the south of that cover up that brick banding. It doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason the way they were put up there. And I know they didn't come before this board. So,
Right. And we are still working on sign enforcement. That's coming hopefully in the coming weeks. Yes.
okay.
So we will speak with her again and I will try and provide you an update, possibly at your meeting at the end of this month.
Okay.
28th.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second that.
Second. Can we get a roll call?
Bye-bye.
Happy eye.
Thank
Yes.
you, Paul. That was an admirable effort. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank
Good
you.
night, all.
The
Bye.
motion
Good night,
carries.
everyone.
We are
Bye,
adjourned.
everybody.